You ever find yourself lying in bed at night staring at the ceiling, not because you're restless, but because your mind just won't let go? You've done everything right that day. You got your work done. You smiled at people. You answered texts, remembered birthdays, said all the right things. And yet there you are, eyes wide open in the dark, feeling like something is still not okay. That kind of tired, that's the one no one talks about. It doesn't show up in yawns or drooping eyelids. It shows up in the tightness behind your ribs when you're trying to relax. It shows up in the way you clench your jaw when your phone lights up. It shows up in how quickly your heart races when plans change even slightly. It's not just physical. It's emotional, spiritual, invisible. And it often comes from one thing: control. Trying to hold everything together. Your image, your feelings, the people around you, their expectations, your future, your past, your healing. You smile through it. Stay busy. Stay composed. You tell yourself it's just being responsible, mature, prepared. But deep down, you're exhausted, not from doing too much, but from trying to manage what was never yours to carry in the first place. You're constantly scanning, measuring, prepping for the worst, as if anxiety could stop disappointment, as if perfection could earn peace. But it never does. And you know that, don't you? Because this kind of tired doesn't go away with sleep. It doesn't go away with more yoga, more journaling, more control. Because it's not your body that's breaking down. It's the part of you that keeps whispering, "I can't hold this anymore." And maybe, just maybe, you're finally ready to listen. Somewhere along the way, you started to believe that control meant safety. That if you could just keep everything organized, your plans, your emotions, your reactions, then maybe the chaos would stay out there and not find its way in here. You didn't choose control because you're demanding. You chose it because you were scared, not of life itself, but of being caught off guard by it. Maybe it was that one time someone left without warning, or the moment everything changed and no one prepared you. Or maybe it was a slow build years of unpredictability, of being the one who had to hold it too. So you started planning everything, overthinking, rehearsing conversations, anticipating problems before they even existed. Not because you didn't trust others, but because deep down you didn't trust that you'd be okay if things fell apart again. You called it being strong, being efficient, but underneath it, you were bracing. Every move became a calculation. Every emotion became something to manage, not feel. Even joy didn't last long, because your mind was already preparing for when it might get taken away. That's the illusion of control. It promises you peace, but it sells you fear in disguise. It tells you that if you just do everything right, say the right thing, react the right way, be the right version of yourself, then you'll finally be safe. But has it worked? Has control ever truly given you rest? Or has it just kept you busy, trying to outrun something that was never chasing you to begin with? The truth is, you were never meant to manage life like a crisis waiting to happen. You were meant to live it. And I know letting go of that grip feels terrifying at first. But sometimes the thing you're holding on to isn't keeping you afloat. It's what's keeping you from swimming. There was a time you thought you were healing. You were journaling every thought, meditating every morning, reading the books, practicing the tools, doing all the inner work. But somewhere along the way, healing stopped feeling like freedom and started feeling like another thing you had to get right. You weren't breathing deeper. You were just breathing carefully. Every habit became a checklist. Every emotion became a red flag. Every moment of stillness came with a whisper in your mind, asking, "Am I doing this right?" It looked like growth, but it felt like surveillance, like you were watching yourself from the inside, managing every reaction, analyzing every word, tightening your grip on everything that was supposed to soften you. What you called discipline was fear in a nicer outfit. Fear of being too messy, too reactive, too human. You weren't practicing peace, you were rehearsing control. And it's okay. You did it because it felt safer. Because chaos had never been kind to you. And this was something you could hold. But slowly, without meaning to, you started shrinking inside it. Your days began to feel like performances. Your healing became performance. Your self-awareness turned into a constant pressure to be composed, grounded, calm, even when something in you just wanted to break. You didn't need another system. You needed space, not to fix more, but to feel more. To stop measuring your growth by how little you react and start noticing how honestly you live. Because when healing becomes another word for control, it doesn't set you free. It just gives you a prettier cage to lock yourself in. And maybe now, just now, you're starting to wonder what would happen if you stepped outside it. If you let yourself mess up, feel deeply, not explain. If you let the work go for a moment and let yourself just be. You ever tell yourself something like, "When I've worked through this, I'll finally feel peace. When I stop overthinking, I'll be happy. When I'm fully healed, I'll be ready to live." It sounds hopeful, but underneath it is delay, a quiet postponement of your own life, like you're waiting to become some future version of yourself before you can be worthy of rest, worthy of love, worthy of presence. I lived in that myth for years, believing that freedom would show up once I had all the answers, that peace would walk in once I'd patched every wound, that life would begin once I was finally ready. But healing doesn't work like that. It's not a finish line. It's not a test you pass and suddenly everything feels light. It's messy, cyclical, unscripted. It happens in layers, and sometimes it happens in silence, not because you're doing it wrong, but because it's not meant to be a performance. And the peace you're chasing, it doesn't wait for perfection. It arrives in the moment you stop trying to earn it. When you breathe without needing to be impressive. When you show up not because you're fixed, but because you're real, honest, present. Healing isn't about becoming someone else. It's about finally being allowed to be who you've always been, without the pressure to prove that you're okay. The truth is, you don't have to be totally healed to belong to this moment. You don't need to be free of fear to feel safe. You don't have to have everything figured out to be held by life, by love, by your own arms. What if freedom isn't waiting for you at the end? What if it's been waiting for you to stop running? There's a moment. It doesn't come with fireworks or fanfare. It's quiet, almost too small to notice. You're standing in a situation that would have triggered you, and for some reason, you don't tense up. You don't scan for danger. You don't rehearse a response. You don't try to fix it, solve it, manage it. You just stay, and nothing breaks. The thing you were bracing for doesn't happen. The silence doesn't explode. The discomfort doesn't destroy you. The unknown doesn't swallow you. You're still here. And for the first time, maybe ever, you realize that control was never the protector. It was the fear, the grip, the armor, and letting go. It's not a collapse. It's a return to your breath, to your body, to this moment. It's strange at first to feel yourself relax without permission, to watch your shoulders drop when no one told you to be strong, to exhale without achievement, without a reason, just because you can. You don't have to prove anything in that moment. You don't have to explain your growth. You don't have to handle it well. You just have to be willing to stay, to not run from the stillness that used to terrify you, to sit inside the quiet and notice that it's not empty. It's honest. It's not dangerous. It's open. You don't need to fill it with more trying, more effort, more fixing, because nothing is falling apart, and you're not too much. And maybe you never needed to hold it all so tightly. Maybe the moment you let go is the moment you remember. You were never fragile, just afraid. And now, maybe you're not anymore. Letting go sounds peaceful, and sometimes it is. But other times, it hurts. Because you're not just releasing fear. You're releasing the version of you who held it all for so long. The one who always knew what to say. The one who stayed calm when everyone else was falling apart. The one who figured things out. Who carried the unspoken weight. Who managed fixed, smooth, survived. You needed that version of you. At one point, they kept you safe. They helped you navigate chaos. They gave you a sense of control when everything else felt uncertain. They weren't fake. They were brave. And now, you're saying goodbye, not with bitterness, but with something closer to grief. Because they were strong. Strong in the way that people rarely notice the kind of strength that shows up when no one else does. The kind that holds back tears so others can cry. The kind that says, "I'm fine," while holding the world in one hand and your breath in the other. But that kind of strength is lonely and unsustainable. You can't be the one who holds it all and still feel held. You can't be endlessly composed and still feel deeply human. So here you are standing in the soft wreckage of the old you. Not broken, just shedding. And it's okay to miss them. It's okay to feel the ache of what kept you alive, even if it's no longer what you need. This isn't failure. It's a rite of passage. To thank the armor before you take it off. To whisper thank you for getting me here before walking forward without it. Because who you're becoming now doesn't need to manage everything. They just need to feel free. You were taught that peace comes after you finish the work. After you heal the wound. After you get it all right. And so you tried. You read the books, spoke the affirmations, held yourself accountable, smiled even when it hurt. You did the work because you believed peace was something you had to earn. Like if you could just clean up your chaos enough, something holy would finally arrive. But peace isn't waiting on the other side of your perfection. It's not a destination. It's not something you unlock once you've proven you're worthy of rest. It's here, now, in this breath, in this body. In this moment, you're trying to escape because it feels incomplete. Peace doesn't require the mess to be gone. It requires you to stop calling yourself broken because it's here, because you're here. You don't have to keep bargaining for stillness, as if it's some reward for being good enough, quiet enough, healed enough. Stillness doesn't need your resume. It just needs your permission to sit, to pause, to not explain your tiredness, to not justify your boundaries, to not dress your rest in achievement. The truth is, you could stop right now. You could stop chasing and performing and pleasing, and peace would not leave. It would come closer because it's never been somewhere else. It's only ever been waiting for you to say, I'm done proving. I'm ready to feel. Not fixed, not figured out, just here. Alive, soft. Enough! You've been the strong one for so long. The one who steadies the room. The one who always has the right words. The one who doesn't fall apart, even when everything else does. You learned how to read the energy, to adjust, to protect the moment, the people, the mood. You made yourself the anchor. And yes, it helped. It made others feel safe. But did you? Because somewhere in the middle of holding it all together, you stopped feeling held yourself. You stopped asking for help, stopped resting without guilt, stopped letting your shoulders drop all the way. You carried the calm for everyone and forgot to check if your own heart was still breathing underneath it all. But here's something no one told you. Life doesn't need you to hold it together all the time. It doesn't fall apart when you pause. It doesn't punish you when you soften. It doesn't require you to be perfect in order to be beautiful. You don't have to be ready every second. You don't have to manage everyone's emotions. You don't have to anticipate every outcome, every tone of voice, every unspoken need. You are allowed to just be in the room, not as the foundation, but as yourself. Soft, present, unprepared. You can stop planning the next sentence. Stop managing the silence. Stop explaining your stillness. There is room for you without effort. There is belonging that doesn't come from usefulness. And maybe the people who matter most aren't looking for the strongest version of you. Maybe they're just hoping to meet the real one. The one who breathes deeply, who rests fully, who trusts that life too knows how to hold you even when your grip is gone. There's a kind of rebellion that doesn't look like rage. It doesn't come with shouting or slamming doors. It comes with stillness. It begins when you stop second-guessing everything you feel. When you don't rush to get approval before making a decision. When you no longer rehearse your feelings before saying them out loud. It begins when you choose to trust yourself. Not the polished version of you, but the quiet one. The one who whispers what's true even when it's not convenient. The one who knows when something feels off even if there's no logical reason. The one who doesn't have a plan but still knows which way is home. Trusting yourself, again, is a soft kind of courage. It means letting your no be a no without guilt. It means not explaining your piece to people committed to misunderstanding it. It means no longer needing to be validated before you believe your own clarity. And at first, it feels strange. You've been trained to look outside for the answer, to run every instinct through the filter of will they understand, will they approve, will they stay. But the more you listen inward, the less those questions matter, because something steadier begins to rise inside you, something that doesn't need to be loud to be strong. You speak less, but more honestly. You pause more, but feel fuller. You move slower, but with more direction. This isn't arrogance. This is alignment. And the people who truly see you won't ask for the old version back. They'll welcome this one, the version of you that's no longer performing, no longer explaining, no longer bracing, just trusting, breathing, becoming. You. There's no grand moment, no music swelling in the background, no lightning bolt of realization, just a pause, a breath, a quiet awareness that you're tired of gripping, tired of fixing, tired of trying so hard to become something more than what you already are. And so you stop, not with drama, but with grace. You stop managing the silence in the room. You stop searching your thoughts for the next thing to heal. You stop holding yourself to the standard of always okay. And the wildest part, nothing falls apart. You're still here, but lighter, like someone just lifted a weight you didn't know you were carrying. You don't suddenly have all the answers. You're not floating through life untouched by discomfort. You still feel, still falter, still wonder. But now you don't fight it. You don't rush to fix the moment just because it's unfamiliar. You let it be. You let yourself be. And there, in that quiet space between needing and proving, you find something soft. Not excitement, not control, not certainty, but peace. The kind that doesn't need to be explained. The kind that doesn't perform. The kind that feels like coming home, not to a place, not to a person, but to yourself. You look around and realize nothing outside had to change. Just your grip, just your pace, just the story you stopped telling that you had to do it all, hold it all, be it all. You don't. You never did. And now, without the performance, without the pressure, without the armor, you're free.